Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Mewtwo Fan Nate, and it is Season 2, Week number 14 of the P4G, and we are going up against Professor FX in the Mewtwolouse something. I'm horrible at pronouncing that, so I really apologize for butchering it. I love you, dude, but I'm sorry I can't pronounce your team name because, I don't know, it's so difficult, but I love that it revolves around Mewtwo. Like, that's my ish, you know? So pretty much, if you guys don't know how I like to do my team builders, pretty much what we do is we throw up the mons that we have drafted, we talk about team matchup a little bit, then go over the sets, and kind of guess on how this game might play out. So pretty much, you guys can see my team. We have the Typhlosion, Licky, Crobat, Mesprit, Raikou, Hariyama, Blastoise, Tapu Bulu, Mega Scizor, the Piloswine, and the Hydreigon. And Professor FX, he has drafted Jirachi, Milotic, Weavile, Gligar, Mimikyu, Mega Garchomp, Swallow, Rotom, Heat, Fortress, Meganium, and Girder. So kind of just, you know, the first things that come to my mind when I look at his team, he has a few different stealth rockers with like Fortress, he has Mega Garchomp, he has Gligar, which gets rocks, he has Jirachi, which gets rocks. He has he has like kind of weird-ish like hazard removal in like Swallow, which can get like defog. He also has Gligar, which can get defog, and then he has Fortress with the rapid spin. The Fortress can also get spikes, and I believe toxic spikes as well. I'm not so 100% sure on the toxic spikes, but definitely spikes for sure. The couple things also is that he has like a pretty a good amount of like switch initiative between like the Jirachi with like U-turn, Gligar with U-turn, he has Swallow with U-turn, Rotom Heat with like the Volt Switch, Fortress gets Volt Switch, so he has a good amount of like switch initiative that he can go with. There's a lot of things on my team that don't appreciate Girder, like if he sets up like a bulk up and then just spams Mach Punch, that could potentially sweep me, so I gotta be careful of that. There's also the Rotom Heat, which also could be a little bit of an issue because it is pretty bulky and it can be very offensive, and it can do different things, like it can run like a trick set. Overheat also like smacks around my Mega Scizor pretty well. It resists Bullet Punch, so it's a really good check to it. It can Will-O-Wisp things, be very annoying in that sense. Just really, you know, whatever set he wants to bring, it could be a real nuisance. And I don't really have a lot that wants to hit it like for super effective stab kind of thing, because you know it's weak to rocks, but I don't really have like I don't have like a rock type Pokemon on my my draft, so you know it's a little hard to hit that thing super effectively. I can hit it with like water type moves, but I mean like my water type Pokemon is Blastoise, and that doesn't want to take the like electric type moves from it, so it's kind of hard for me to switch in. And then I have like I can potentially bring like Typhlosion and try to deal with it, but it doesn't also want to take electric moves, so it's really hard for me to like prepare for that thing, so I'm kind of just gonna YOLO it. As far as like my team matchup like against him, he doesn't have much for Hydreigon. Like he has very limited Hydreigon switch-ins. There's really nothing on his team that likes switching into Hydreigon. Like he just has to pick his sack at that point. I mean, he could bring like Gligar, which can like, you know, eat Draco Meteors, and so can Milotic, and they can kind of like heal up and like stall it up. But like there's nothing that like really wants to appreciate switching into Hydreigon, and with Hydreigon I can kind of just click U-turn, get some, you know, some nice initiative, and then potentially bring out something like my Raikou to deal with like Milotic, set up a Calm Mind, that kind of thing, you know. So it's you know, we have like a good matchup in that sense. Blastoise actually has a kind of a nice time here, like can pretty much just fire off Scalds and not really many things that want to kind of switch into that, potentially get burned, like Garchomp does not want to get burned, Mimikyu does not want to get burned, Gligar is not really appreciating the burn. Swallow, if it's special, it doesn't mind it, but if it's physical, We have to watch out for a potential gut set. But, you know, of course it runs things like Brave Bird and stuff like that, and then it's weak to rock, so you get that residual damage. So it's not like it's scary, but it's also easier to wear down and put it into like bullet punch range. So not like the biggest of deals, but you know, it's something you gotta be careful of. Girder, if it's like guts or something, we have to watch out for that. But I think it's gonna be like Iron Fist, because Iron Fist is probably the best way to run the Girder this week with like Mach Punch. So you know, if you could burn that thing, it'd be kind of nice. We also have no Tapu Bulu this week because he has a lot of things that can kind of deal with it, like in a sense, like Jirachi kind of hard checks it. Girder can kind of go for like poison jabs on me. Fortress, I can't really touch it. It can hit me with gyro balls. Swellow can like Brave Bird me, and like Rotom Heat can overheat me. Garchomp can hit me with the poison jab. It's just not like a good time, you know. Mimikyu also can like burn me with like Will-O-Wisp. It outspeeds me, can hit me with that play rough. It would hurt. Not like something I want to bring. Weavile also gets priority Ice Shard. Milotic can outspeed me because it's base 81 speed, hit me with that Ice Beam. I'm not really digging Tapu Bulu matchup this week, so it's not like it's something that would be pretty like decent offensively, because not really much like to switch into it. Actually, what am I saying? There's a lot of things that would actually switch into it. Like Meganium would kind of switch into it. I mean, I could run like the bug. I'm not gonna even like talk about it anymore because I'm not bringing it. But you know, it's not like it's something that you would expect to bring every week because it's just like a hard hitting mon. But I'm not bringing it. So let's just start talking about the sets now and kind of go into that. So pretty much we have Twigs, the Crobat here, and we are running a Life Orb Crobat this week, pretty much just because it is the fastest mon on my draft and it outspeeds the entirety of his draft. Like we outspeed Swellow, we outspeed Weavile, we outspeed those mons, so we have to, so we, you know, it's a good bring. So I kind of like it for that reason. We have Defog on here because he has Meganium, and I don't want that thing like setting up screens, and he also has a Fortress, which can set up like multiple different hazards, so I want to make sure that I can defog. Another thing that I have to be careful about with defog is that if he does end up bringing Milotic that's competitive, we don't want to give that thing a boost. So it's something, you know, that's kind of scary, but at the same time, we could probably just U-turn out into it and like go into like Raikou, which has like a nice special defense stat, and scare it out with like Thunderbolts and stuff. So it's not really the biggest of deals, but you know, it's definitely scary. So U-turn is for that nice initiative. Roost is just to heal off any kind of Stealth Rocks damage, Life Orb damage, things like that. It hurts the Girder, hurts the Meganium. Fortress, it can take a couple, but you know, it doesn't really appreciate coming into that neutral hit. Swellow, we outspeed, we can hit that with the Brave Bird. Mimikyu doesn't have like that best defense, so we hit that. Weavile, so you guys get the gist, you know. It's a, depending on what he has late game, this thing can kind of clean up, you know. So the next mon that we have is our family friendly, the Hydreigon, and I'm just running a max speed, max special attack Hydreigon this week because I don't know if he's gonna want to run a bulky Jirachi this week, like with maybe like Stealth Rocks or something, or if he wants to run more of offensive. But if he does happen to run like somewhat of like a bulky Jirachi, expecting my Hydreigon to like speed creep one of his slower mons, like the Mimikyu or something, then we will outspeed him trying to speed creep me or something like that. So I'm just running max speed this week. I'm running the Assault Vest because like I couldn't think of a different like item to put on. Like I was just looking at it and I was just like, well, it would kind of help with the Rotom Heat. Like it would definitely let me switch into it a lot easier. And that's kind of just about it. Like we can take a hit from Milotic and just kind of smack it with a Charge Beam. So this is kind of my reason for the Assault Vest. It helps me take on those two mons more a little bit. So that's kind of the reason for it. I'm just realizing how big my forehead looks right now because I got a haircut, and don't get me wrong, like the fade with like the, the little bit of scruff is looking really clean, but my forehead is looking kind of big. Like, what is this hairline right now? What? Look at his forehead. Oh my god. Anyway, so we have Dark Pulse because there's really not much that wants to take that. Like, there's literally maybe like a couple resists and like maybe like Girder, Fortress, and Weavile, but they all are not really appreciating, aside from maybe Girder, but Girder does not want to take that Draco Meteor, especially if I hit like Charge Beam first, it switches in, and then I click Draco Meteor, it is not going to take that at all, unless it's like Spadef, like it is not appreciating that hit whatsoever. So it's kind of just like a wall breaker this week. Dark Pulse could also clean up depending on what mons he has left, because I mean, as you guys can see, like he has two really fast mons with Swallow and Weavile, and after that it kind of just drops to like Jirachi, and then the rest are pretty slow. So it's like Hydreigon has like a nice matchup right here for this situation. So the next mon that we are bringing is the Raikou. So this Raikou is a Calm Mind 3 attack set. This is not the right EV spread at all. Like, at all. Like, what just happened to this? This is not what it was supposed to be. I believe this was like 132, 252, and then like 124 in defense. That's what that was. I have no idea why Showdown does these things. It's really frustrating sometimes. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Okay, I don't know why that happened, but anyway, this Raikou set, after Calm Mind, if the Gligar and the Mega Garchomp are not Spadef, then they are not taking a Hidden Power Ice. Like, it does like it does like 100 minimum, like depending on their investment. But if they're like Spadef, they can live 1, but they're not gonna take 2. So Gligar, I can even eat 1 Earthquake from and like set up a second Calm Mind on it, and then hit it with that +2 Hidden Power Ice and just straight up knock it out. So I like Raikou in this matchup a lot, because if I set up a Calm Mind, then there's not many things that want to take the electric type moves. Like anything that doesn't really get hit with either Thunderbolt or Hidden Power Ice takes neutral damage from Shadow Ball, which is pretty nice, and not like the only thing that would be the Rotom Heat, and Rotom Heat is weak to Stealth Rocks, and it can get worn down pretty easily if it's trying to Volt Switch and get initiative that way, so it makes it a little bit easier to knock it out with like Shadow Balls and stuff like that. And besides, if I get a Calm Mind up, it's not going to be doing too much to me with like Thunderbolts, and Overheat drops its special attack by 2, so it's something that we can easily like set up a Calm Mind on. So it's kind of nice for that regard. The speed is just to outspeed a max speed Jirachi. We have 252 in special attack, and then we have the 124 in defense, so we can just take like priority moves from like Weavile and like Mach Punches from Girder. But other than that, we're looking okay as far as that goes, and especially if he wants to bring like a physical Swallow with the Brave Bird, so we can resist that hit and take it a little bit nicer. But I think this set will do okay. It's nice and fast and everything like that, so we should be in a good situation with Raikou. Now we have our Blastoise here, and it's actually a pretty interesting set. Pretty much what this is going to do is help me wear down his team. We have enough speed just to outspeed a non-invested in speed Rotom Heat, so if he wants to bring like a max HP, max something, like not speed invested at all Rotom Heat for some reason, we can outspeed that hit with a Scald. I'm running Icy Wind this week because if he does want to switch in, not necessarily if he wants to switch in, but let's say Mega Garchomp kills something, I bring in the Blastoise. I'm going to click Icy Wind here, and I'm going to slow him down by 1 stage. Now, after I slow him down by 1 stage, I will now outspeed him, and then I can click Icy Wind again and potentially get that knockout kill, which is what I'm hoping for. because I could run Ice Beam and do a little bit more damage, like maybe like 15% more damage, 20% more damage. I don't remember the counts off the top of my head. But Ice Beam does knock him out anyway, and he 2KOs me with Earthquake. So this is the Leo 6-foot hacks tech that I've managed to pick up, where it's like, if you don't, like, where if I wouldn't get a kill normally, I can just run like Rock Tomb, Icy Wind, something like that, slow something down, and then get it knocked out the following turn. So I like Leo's tech here. I'm going to be using it. I got to give him credit because that is something that he has taught me. And I think it's genius. Now I have Protect on here just because if I'm running Toxic and Protect with leftovers, I want to make sure that I'm staying like pretty healthy. So with Protect and Toxic damage, it helps me like rack up the damage as much as possible. Toxic is just for the like Milotic and things that don't really want to like that can take Scalds and Icy Winds. Of course, it does have the Marvel scale will like it will boost its defenses, but if it's running low, like with Toxics and things like that, it lets me knock it out much easier with my Hydreigon because it can't really take Draco Meteors as much. It's going to be forced to just kind of not be attacking me, where I can just kind of click Charge Beam and stuff and just set up. So I like that for that reason. But I'm hoping that this does well. I think it will. Now we have our Piloswine here, which is really just going to set up Stealth Rocks this week. It's not really supposed to do much other than like potentially Revenge Kill the Mega Garchomp or the Gligar. Either way, those mons are pretty annoying to my team. Like, Gligar eats many different hits. The Mega Garchomp hits like a truck, so I mean, if I can hit that thing with an Ice Shard and do nice damage to it, I'm looking okay. I really just want to be able to hit as hard as possible and get nice, powerful Ice Shards off on like Swellow, Mega Garchomp, the Gligar, and even like Meganium. So like I want to be able to make sure that I'm outspeeding, like not outspeeding those things, but making sure I'm hitting as hard as I can with that priority move. And then we have Icicle Crash, just because if I think he's definitely going to switch out, like if he has like the Mega Garchomp, like I don't see him staying in to take that hit. I can click either Earthquake, Icicle Crash, either maybe even set up my rocks. So I mean, I'll depending on the situation in Monty has, it will determine on what I do, of course. And if I'm thinking of making a bad play, because you know that's what happens. I make bad plays sometimes. So anyway, this is the last set that we have. It is our Mega Scizor, Aerial Ace, Swords Dance, Bullet Punch, and Roost. It's really just going to help me take hits from the Weavile. It's going to take hits from the Girder, as long as it's not running like Fire Punch. It can kind of take a couple hits from like Jirachi, but it doesn't really do much back to Jirachi. This thing kind of gets hard walled by Jirachi, but that's kind of okay. It's really just, it's not really supposed to sweep or anything like that. It's just really, if I can get up like a Swords Dance, I can knock out Girder to prevent it from like, because I'm putting a lot of faith this week in a Hydreigon. I'm being honest. I think Hydreigon is the win con this week. So if I can like set up a Swords Dance and then Aerial Ace the Girder, I think I'll be looking okay. Pretty much anything, and this will also help me take on the Mimikyu. That's another thing. I want to make sure that I can Bullet Punch that Mimikyu. That's like pretty much what this Scissor's job is this week, to take on Girder, Mimikyu, and that's kind of it. And then like maybe Bullet Punch, knock out the Weavile. So that's pretty much like, it has like a specific role this week. Not really looking for it to sweep, anything like that, because he does have many things that can take it on pretty well. But you know, we also have Aerial Ace, which can also hit Meganium, so it's not like the worst possible coverage move to bring. So I think this will do okay. So with that being said, this is going to be the team for this week, guys. If you enjoyed it, if you are rocking with your New York Noibats, make sure to hit that like button for me, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the battle. Peace out.